Hi everyone, welcome back to my craft room. If you're new to my craft room, then welcome. Today I have a fun little project. We're going to do a double-sided fall/Halloween sign. And we're going to be using those really cool, they look like a cutting board sign that they have out for fall this year from Dollar Tree. So I thought that would be fun to make it a double duty sign. And I'm going to get all this stuff together and I'll be right back and we can get started with this project. Alright, so here's everything you're going to need if you want to do this one. I'm going to use two of these. I love the size of these. Look like little cutting boards, and I thought those were real pretty. This one I actually broke. Some of these were really warped. I tried to straighten it out and I snapped the top right off, so don't try to bend the top. It does break off, but what I'm doing here, you're never going to know it was there anyway, so it'll be fine. We won't tell anyone that I broke it. So you're going to need these two signs. You're going to need 2 sheets of this self-adhesive wallpaper from Dollar Tree, or whatever pattern you want to use. I just love this stuff. It's so easy and it sticks really well. So I'm going to be using that on the back side of these signs. Oops, I'm trying to set it here and it's falling down. Alright, so let me set that up there. Then I got these tin cat and pumpkins at Dollar Tree. I love these. I'm going to paint both of these. This one I'm going to paint with this chalky paint from Craft Smart. This is from Michael's in the burnt orange. And then the cat, I'm going to use some of the home decor chalk paint in rich black. And I may paint the stem too with some of this, what is this one? This one's Spanish moss. I only have a tiny bit of that left. I need to get more of that. But anyway, that's what we're going to paint these with. And then I have 2 of these words. These come in a pack. I think it's a pack of 3 from Dollar Tree. I have the spooky and I have beware. I figure I'll put that with the cat and the spooky with the pumpkin. And what else are we going to need here? I'm going to use some of, I'm not sure what they're calling, raffia from Dollar Tree. This is a 3-pack that I found there a while ago. It had the green and the red and then the natural color. I'm going to be using the natural color. But sometimes they'll have these in single packs too. I don't know, it's weird. They have them packaged different a lot of the time. But we're going to use some of this to make a bow with on these. And these are just going to be so much fun. Just to be able to flip them around from one holiday to the next. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is let me make some room here before I get all this paint and everything going. I'm going to show you how I cut out this paper here. It's really simple. There's really nothing to it. I just flipped it over and then take my sign here and I lined it up so it's like towards the bottom and the other edge here. And then just take a pen and just go around it. Actually, I'm going to take this off first. It'll make my life easier. You're going to need to take these off before you do this anyway. And then we're just going to put that back on when we're all done. Alright, so we got that lined up there. I'm just going to take a little big pen here. Let me make sure I have this right on the shadow. It's really dark and rainy here today, so it's kind of hard to see in here. Alright, hopefully that is in the right spot. I think so. Alright, there we go. So now I'm just going to take this and go around this thing here. Make sure it gets all marked up real good, all the way up around the top, and off the side here. And you're also going to want to cut out your hole here so you can put your string back through it. But that's it. That's all you got to do. Just put it face down on here and just cut it out. Alright, so then you're just going to take a pair of scissors. I'm not going to cut this whole thing out. You guys know how to cut things out. But just go around the line and just cut this thing out nice. And that's it. And you might need a smaller pair of scissors to get into your little hole there to cut that out, but it's not difficult. But I love this stuff. I just keep using this. I've used this on a lot of projects already. It's just so easy to do. So anyway, that's all I'm going to do. Just cut around all the lines I made there, and I'll finish that off camera. And now for this guy, we're going to paint him black. A little black cat here. We're going to take this off because we're not going to have this on our project at all. So I'm just going to chop that off here. And let me get some black paint here. And just, you know, one of the Dollar Tree brushes I'm going to use. I'm probably going to have to do two, whoops, some dry stuff in that cat. I'm probably going to have to do 2 coats, I'm pretty sure. So, and I guess it doesn't matter whichever way you want them facing. You can have them going that way or this way. So, but this stuff paints on here really nice, the chalk paint. And I always put my little scrap paper down so I don't have to be so neat. And that's it. We're just going to paint him all black. I mean, you can leave him as the metal look if you know, if you like that, or whatever you want to paint him. You could even paint him a funky purple if you wanted to, but we're going to go with a black cat for this project. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of, like, maybe some green paper behind his eyes. I think that'll look cool. But that's it. That's how easy. These things paint up really nice with the chalk paint. Alright, so I'm going to get him set aside here. And we will just move right on to the pumpkin. Like I said, super easy project to do. Alright, let me set that over there. Grab me another piece of scrap paper. And we're going to use some of this chalk paint from Michael. I wasn't too sure if I was going to like this chalk paint when I got it, but I really, really do. And I was so happy to see that I had bought 2 of these last year when I got these, because I thought I was almost out of this stuff and I was panicking. Because this time of year, once it gets close to fall and stuff, it's hard to find the fall colors because everybody's crafting. Alright, so then this guy here is going to be this cool orange. And this is called, what did I say, burnt orange. So, and this one will darken up a little bit too once you get the second coat on there. And I think I'm going to use some of the distressing ink on it too, just to add a little definition to it. Because I love using that stuff on all, not all, but a lot of my projects. It's just so easy to, you know, add some highlight here and there with it. And I'll show you that when we get there. But again, I'm going to let this dry and then I'll put a second coat on this guy too. But see how easy these paint up? They just paint up so nice. Alright. There we go. Alright, that's 1 coat for you. Alright, so now we're going to set you aside here. There we go. And I'm going to grab another piece of scrap paper. And let me stick this in some of this paint. I can reuse that brush. Alright, and then I'm going to take our Spooky and our Beware. And if you don't want these moving around on you too much, you can take some like double-sided tape to give it a little bit of a hold. I do that with a lot of these, just to keep them in place while I'm painting them, and that way they're not going to slide, and then it'll pop right off when you're done. Alright, that one's out of tape, but I think that'll be enough. Alright, let me get rid of that one. And for this, we're just going to do these in a nice white. Where's my white? Here we go. That's not it. Where did I put my white? You know, I always think I have everything I need right here, and I don't see it. I don't want that color. I wanted a white, 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 white. Well, I can use some of this here. This is the Waverly white chalk paint, and this is just in the color white. So I don't need a ton of this, so I don't even think I'm going to dump this out. I may just dip my little sponge brush. I'm going to use one of those sponge brushes from Dollar Tree, and that's pretty much the easiest way to paint these little things. So, let me get a lot of paint on here. We are just going to tap on these little guys here, and I'm going to paint these a nice white, and then afterwards I'm going to go around with it. I think I'm just going to use a Sharpie pen and do like some black stitching on it just to make it stand out a little bit more. But this is definitely the easiest way to paint these little guys. And it's just a quick and easy little project. same thing here. Whoops. The same thing here with the spooky. Real quick and simple. I mean, I like that when you do it with like the sponge brush, it gives it like a little bit of a texture too. It's not just a flat, you know, liney paint or whatever. I mean, it's not a lot. Once it dries, it kind of flattens out, but I do like the little bit of texture that you get with the sponge brush. Alright, so we're going to let that dry, and then I'm going to give that another coat. This Y doesn't seem to want to take the paint. There we go. Alright. So while this is all drying, I think I'm going to make our bows here. So that will be all done when we're done. And also on the jack-o'-lantern, I'm also going to put some black paper behind the face of it, you know, just so it stands out a little more and you don't see the wood through it. So I think that'll look pretty cool. Alright, so I'm going to take, I don't know how many of these. Some of these are thick, probably about 8 to 10 strands of this stuff. There's some thicker ones in here, but some of these are really thin, and that's not going to work. I need some of these thicker ones. Here's a thick one here. Oh, just a nice chunky bow to put on here. So while we're waiting for paint to dry, we may as well go ahead and make our bow. I don't know how many I got here now. It doesn't matter. You kind of have to gauge how much you want to use depending on the size bow that you want to get. I think I used a lot of the wider ones. I already made one of the bows, and I think I already used up most of the wide stuff. But anyway, I'm just going to take a whole bunch of this, make a loop there, and then just put this stuff over top of your thumb, and then just tuck it all through. With any luck, I'll get it all through in one shot. Almost. Alright, there we go. Yeah, that's going to be perfect. It's going to be a perfect chunky raffia bow. Hang on, I'm just trying to yank this tight. Let me measure on my thing here to see if that is going to be the right size. I think that's pretty good. That might be a little bit too big, but we can always shorten it up a little bit. But I want the center thick because we are going to attach these with Velcro. And I will explain why here in a second. Well, maybe more than a second. But I want to cut this pretty short too because I don't want it sticking down over my project. So there, that is going to be the bow we're going to put on here. And I'm going to separate this, you know, and puff it up a little bit once we get it on there. But that is it for the bow. Alright, so all I got to do now, I got to get everything with a second coat here. Finish cutting out my paper. We'll come back, we'll put that on, and then we can start adding on our decorations. Alright, everything's drying. I got this cut out now. We're just going to put this. This is how I did it on both of these. I already have the other one on there. And I started out with the top. I just felt that that was easier. Once I can get this separated here. Never fails. Usually when I'm just doing this, they pop right open, but when I'm trying to do it on camera, I cannot get this to separate. Here we go. Wait a minute. Wait, I got it. Alright. There. Got it. Jeez, that one wanted to give me a hard time. So with this, I just started taking some of this down. I didn't pull it all the way off or anything, because sometimes that's a big mistake. So I'm just going to line up this top piece here with this hole, and hope that I can get everything where it needs to go here. Maybe that's not quite right. Don't stick yet. Alright. Straight? I think we're straight here now. Alright, so now we're going to stick that down. I'm good on the corners here. Alright. So now I'm just going to go under here and just start peeling it off and just kind of pushing it down as we go. And once again, the one that I put on off camera went right on here without an issue. I swear. Alright, there we go. That's why it's just easier to do this just a little at a time. I don't know why this thing's giving me a hard time. Let me turn it this way so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, there we go. Now I can actually see where it needs to get pushed down. Alright. Seriously, I had zero issue putting the other one on off camera. Alright. Well, get in here and get all my little wrinkles out. Thank goodness this stuff is removable. Alright. It just likes to make me look bad. Alright. There we go. Almost there. Well, this one did not go on perfectly. Ow! I am way off. Alright. Alright, that looks good. And then right here, this hole, because I didn't cut it perfectly, I just kind of push the ends in there, and then it, you know, it looks pretty decent. Alright, so that is that. Now what we're going to do is, let me show you my other one here that I have done. You can go ahead and put your little string back in now if you want to. Let's just do that here real quick. There we go. Alright, there is our string back on there. Okay, so I have a little piece of Velcro here that you guys can see. So what we do for this is, I got some of this Velcro from Dollar Tree, Crafter Square Fastener Dots, they're called. You get 20 pairs in here. So I'm actually going to use 2 of the smooth sides and only 1 of the rougher side, the hook, the loop. I never can remember which is which, but the smoother one and 1 rough one. So we're going to put the smoother one on our little cutting board here. So I'm going to put that right up here by the neck because this is where our bow is going to go. And then we're going to flip this over and we're going to put another one of these smooth ones right over here. Mine's going to go right on the crack. You won't have a crack on yours, hopefully. And we're going to put that there. That is how we are going to reverse our bow. And then we are going to take, let's see, which way do I like this one? This way, I believe. So I'm going to take one of the rough sides and I'm just going to attach it right to this raffia back here. And that, whoops. That's why you also want to make it big enough so you can hide that piece. And then, when we get this all said and done, you're going to put your bow on there. And then when we're done with that side, we're going to flip it around for the next holiday. And then you can just go ahead and stick your bow. Whoops, sorry, I just moved you guys. Trying to get you back here now. There we go. We can put your bow back on this side. So I'm just going to take it off for now and set that aside till we get all of our other goodies on here. Alright, let me set them aside. I'll show you what I did to the letters here. I just took a Sharpie and went around and just made some little stitch marks just to highlight it. I didn't finish that one. I figured I would do that one here on camera. Nothing to it. I just make little dashes like so. Oops. See, it's hard for me to do when I have it far away. That's why I did most of them up close. But that's all you do, is just make these little dash marks to make your little stitches. Alright, hopefully I remember to cut that thing out where I just knocked the camera on its side here. If not, I apologize. It's just one of those days. Alright. And now the sun's out. It was raining like crazy when we started this project. But it's going to rain more today. We really need it too, so I'm not even going to complain. Alright, so that is our sign words all stitched up. So now, I left them stuck on the paper while I was doing that. I figured it would just make it easier. Now we can just pop it off our tape that we had on there. And then I'm going to set everything on here to see where I want it to be. So let's see, the where is going to be with the kitty cat. Doesn't matter which one. And then we'll put the spooky one here. Oh yeah, that stands out a lot better with the stitching on it. Even maybe a darker wood grain too. But I really wanted that in white. Now for this guy here, I put some paper on the back. I just literally just scotch taped some black paper on the back of this guy, and I'll show you how I did this. I still have to do it up here. These lines here with the distressing ink. But this guy's going to go right there. Let's see. Just so I have enough room. Where's my other little bow? I already have one made for this one. I need to stick that on there, I think, so I know what I'm doing. Yeah, that's pretty good. Right there. And then our spooky will be right underneath. This spooky could have been done in black too, and maybe the stitching in white. But this is fine. Like I said, not a giant Halloween decorator, but I figured this would be perfect. I can flip it around for Halloween and flip it back over when I'm done. And then over here, we're going to take our kitty cat. I'm probably going to color this hole in. I may just take a marker and color that in. I was going to put paper behind it, but it didn't look good at all. So our black cat's going to go over here on this sign. And, oh, hopefully that's going to fit on there good. He's a little bit bigger than I thought he was. No, that'll be fine. It'll fit. We'll make it fit. And if ears stick up a little bit, really doesn't make any difference. But, yeah, these words are a little bit big for this, but we're going to make it work. Now let me see with our bow on there. Oh, that's fine. And actually that'll bow will cover up that hole. Alright. So that's where they're going to get glued on. I'm going to use some E6000 because these are metal and sometimes the hot glue lets loose. But I'm going to use E6000 and some hot glue, which I don't have plugged in. There we go. On this, you know, that the hot glue just kind of, it's like a clamp to hold these down while the E6000 is drying. That's really the only reason I do it. And I'll probably just set something on top of these until they dry real good. But anyway, I'm going to take some of this green paper here, whatever color you want, and I want to put that in the back here. I think that'll look cool. Make the cat's eyes glow. But just the eyes, so let's see. I don't need much of a piece of paper. I don't even cut them, I just rip it out. Alright, let's see. Don't need much here at all. Will this piece fit? I think so. There, I don't want it to show through the nose either, because we're going to put a little piece of pink on there and give this little cat a little pink nose at least. But I'm just going to tape that back there. You could glue it if you wanted to, but I think this is going to be fine since it's going to be, whoops, I'm running out of tape. Since it's going to be glued down, it's not going to go anywhere. Where did that end of the tape go? There we go. I don't want that sticking out of there. Alright, and then I have this little teeny weeny piece of pink that we're just going to tape right on there. There. And that will be his creepy face. I might put a little bit of distressing ink in there too. I'm not going to put any on here because you're really not going to see it on this cat. But I think that makes him look kind of creepy. Alright, now for the distressing part here, oh, and I did use some of the Spanish moss and I painted on his little stem here too while we were off camera. But nothing special there. I just took some of the distressing ink and, you know, you want a nice like stiff brush or something. And this is the Tim Holtz. This is the vintage photo. I use this stuff on everything. I just love it. And I just like to use a brush with it when I'm doing these kind of things. So I just went around the edges with it. And if you get it a little too dark, you can just kind of wipe it off. And then I went in and I made some, you know, little curves like the pumpkin would be with this. Down the center. And then I just went with the curves of the pumpkin and just Came around here like so. Same thing over here. And then I want to go around this top piece a little bit. And add a little bit of brown to this green, because it's too green. I don't know if this is showing up on camera too well. The lighting in here is really going wonky today. The sun's out right this second, but it wasn't a second ago, so I don't know how this is all adjusting here on camera. Alright, so that's just add a little bit of brown in with that green there. I think that looks much better. It's not such a green. Alright, oh, and the other thing I did do with him is I just took the brush when I was done and I just kind of made little circles on my black cardstock paper that I have back there. And that was all I did. I just went around with this distressing thing, or distressing ink, and just, you know, just highlighted his mouth and stuff a little bit just so it wasn't so plain. And I think, I don't know what I want to do with his eyes here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get much of a color on this green. Let's see what happens. Don't want it on the black. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. It would have looked better with maybe a black, but now I gotta get that white off of there that was on my finger. Alright, so anyway, our kitty's gonna go there. I gotta touch that up. It does kind of make his eyes, I don't know, kind of goofy looking. Or you don't have to put that stuff behind there at all, but yeah, I'm not liking the eyes at all. Ugh. Maybe I will just take a little bit of black paint, a little white paint, and just color that in. Yeah, I'm not digging that. It just looks too weird. Alright, let's see. Do we got any black paint left here in this thing? Yes, we do. Alright, we're going to do this real quick here. And while that's drying, we'll put this together, and then I'll just add his little white dot on there afterwards. Too big of a brush. Little brush. I'm always changing my mind. You guys know that. Alright. Or I could have just used a black marker. Either or. Alright, yeah, that's going to look much better painted. Oh, this brush stinks. This brush stinks. Alright, we're going to leave that alone, and then we're just going to add a little dot of a white highlight in there. Oh, I can fix my spot there now where I got white paint on it. Yeah, you know, he looks too cartoony. I don't know, I really didn't want him to look too cartoony, but I think he'll be alright back here on this side. And nose is a little too pinky. I don't know if I can get in there and get some of that with my distressing ink. I don't know. You know, you think things are a good idea, but they don't always work out. Where did I toss my... Oh, here it is. Boy, it is one of those days today. Must be the weather. Alright, I like that browned out a little bit. Now we touch up my paint again around it. There, it looks better dulled. And the eyes will look better once I get the little white dot in there. Alright. Now I think I'm happy with it. Like I said, totally up to you guys if you want to do all that. You can leave them open to show the wood through it, whichever way you prefer. Yeah, he's going to have to stick up over this side a little bit, then I don't know how that's going to work. I might have to put a leaf on the other side of this one or something. Or I could put the words up over his feet. That would work much better. I really don't want him sticking up over the top. So if it overlaps his foot a little bit, that'll be okay. Alright. Let's get these babies glued down. So now I'm just going to take some of the E6000. The glue gun should be nice and heated up now. And you don't need a lot of this. These are very light. It's not going to take much to hold these on there. So I'm just going to put a little bit here and there. And then I'm going to just add this hot glue just as a clamp, like I said, until this E6000 dries. Alright, let's get that out of there. And he's going to go, let me get my word there, I think I dropped him in the right spot. Alright, I think that's good for our pumpkin. Let's stand up here so I can see. Well, he's going to have to stay there because my glue has already cooled down. I think that's pretty good. Alright, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the spooky sign. Some of this E6000 here and there. If you guys that work with us, you know it takes a good 24 hours for that stuff to dry really good, so that's why we're going to use this little clamping method, if you'd like to call it that. Alright, there is our spooky. And then all I'm going to do, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to glue those all down. I'll do that off camera to save some time, so those videos are getting really long. And then I'll come back and we'll put our bow on and we'll be done. Alright. Okay, I'm digging the cat now. I put the little white dots in his eyes there. I just took a paintbrush, some of the chalk paint, and I just put 2 little white dots. Okay, now I'm happy with this face finally. That was quite a big decision. Alright, so now we're going to take our bow we made with the Velcro, and we're just going to stick that right there. So, this guy is done. So, there you go. You have your Halloween Beware Kitty, and then it's like, uh-oh, Halloween's over. Let's just flip this over and happy Thanksgiving. There we go. But I think this is a great idea. I love to reuse these signs, and if I can just hang it one spot and then just flip it over when I'm ready to do that side, I mean, that just makes life so much easier. So there you go. That is it for my little 2-sided Halloween fall signs here, guys. I'm going to hang these up. I'll put a picture at the end here so you can see what they look like hanging. And I will see you guys all next time. Have a great day, everyone.